What's up, boxing fans? And I want to welcome you back to another edition of Fantasy Bout Hour, the channel dedicated to bringing you fantasy matchups on a regular basis. If there's a particular matchup that you want me to cover, please leave it in the comment section, and I promise to honor your request. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell notification. Please share these videos, share this channel. I would greatly appreciate it. If I've somehow overlooked your request, or it's gotten lost in the shuffle, feel free to send me a reminder and I will get that up for you. I'll do my best to look through the messages to try to find those. So with that being said, the fight that I'm covering in this video comes by way of request, and it is coming from Death from Up Above. I thank you for your request and your participation in the channel. I greatly appreciate it. The fight that they mentioned is an interesting one that takes place between Wladimir Klitschcko and Tommy Morrison. Now, depending on, how this fight would play out would depend a lot on whether Tommy Morrison is facing pre-Emanuel Stewart Klitschko or post-Emanuel Stewart Klitschko. Both versions of Klitschko were good. I mean, his technical abilities, his jab, has one of the best 1-2 combinations in the history of boxing, his power, and just his ring IQ. And in this age of everyone has to be undefeated, or you're not great if you have blemishes on your record, Klitschko probably wouldn't be appreciated. But for old school fans like me, who grew up watching boxing when it was good, a blemish on your record wasn't that big of a deal. As a matter of fact, a loss could be good for you, because you could go back and you could correct some things. You could change trainers. You could just reevaluate. So Klitschko is one of those fighters. He lost 3 times, I believe, before Emanuel Stewart, or 2 times before Emanuel Stewart. But anyway, Klitschko became a superstar with blemishes on his record early in his career. So that's really nothing. Dangerous fighter, tall, rangy fighter. In Klitschko, he used every inch of his height and his reach. And what I loved about Klitschko is how he would put that jab out there and hook off the jab, left hook off the left jab. And so I love that maneuver by him. But we know that Tommy Morrison had devastating power. Tommy Morrison was explosive. He was tough. He was gritty. He was hungry. He's been criticized for losing focus sometimes. He's been criticized for getting overconfident sometimes, which could hurt him against Klitschko. But man, if he touches that chin, it could be lights out for Klitschko. So I would have to say that both guys would have to be on their A game to fight one another. And both of their guys would have to be at their best. Both of the guys would have to be at their best. And so, wow, what a tremendous matchup. What a tremendous matchup. When I'm thinking about things that sets the two apart or separates them, it has to be Klitschko's skill set, Klitschko's discipline, Klitschko's ability to learn, his ability to improve, and his fundamentals. I feel that Klitschko had the better fundamentals. He had the better jab. The jab is always a plus. And I'm wondering if Tommy could get past that jab. I wonder if he could bulldoze his way in, or throw a couple quick jabs of his own to kind of get on the inside. And he would definitely have to work Klitschko's body. And there's something that I've observed in Klitschko's career with his opponents. And I don't claim to know everything about boxing, but it's something I always wondered. How come they rarely went to his body? It's like they were determined to headhunt against a taller fighter. And you would think that it would be beneficial to go to his body, bring them hands down. Body punching from Morrison would definitely be vital in this matchup. And Yes, he would have to get respect from Klitschko early, and he would just have to land. He would just have to land. But as Teddy Atlas always says, I think that Klitschko would charge him real estate, and the real estate would be expensive. So, Tommy Morrison could not afford to be on the outside trying to bob and weave and giving Klitschko time and stuff, because he's going to be eaten up with jabs, and Klitschko's going to pick him off. He's going to pick him off. So Tommy would have to make this a very physical fight. I don't think he'd be able to outbox Klitschko. He definitely wouldn't be able to outbox Klitschko. He could bully him. He could try to intimidate him. He could try to push him back. And he would definitely have to push him back, get him against the ropes, and just hit whatever you can. Don't look for the perfect shot. Don't look for the perfect shot. Hit whatever you can. And Tommy would have to take some risk. He definitely would, because trying to box a fighter like Klitschko, who's bigger than you, who has a longer reach than you, and who has better fundamentals than you, it's not the way to go. So Tommy would have to turn this into a dog fight. It would have to be a dog fight. It would have to be a physical fight. And he would have to get to that chin early. He would have to get to his chin early. Now, going back to the point I made about Emanuel Steward, and don't get me wrong, Klitschko was a good fighter before Emanuel Steward, but I would just say Emanuel Steward perfected him. Emanuel Steward was the master at coaching tall fighters, tall heavyweight fighters. That's what Emanuel Steward specialized in. And what he did with Klitschko is, before Emanuel Steward, when Klitschko got hurt, he didn't know how to survive. But Emanuel Steward kind of added that to his repertoire. Klitschko was clinching more. He was smothering his opponent's attacks more. So Klitschko was still Klitschko, but Emanuel Steward just fine-tuned him. And so both great fighters, both legends. Tommy Morrison fought in the best heavyweight era, in my opinion, which was the 90s. I mean, you had Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Big George came back, Riddick Bowe, Michael Moore. I mean, the 90s was just everything. So that's what Tommy Morrison has working in his favor. He fought in the best era. He fought some dangerous fighters. And so Tommy has the better resume. He has a better legacy, of course. Of course, you can't take your legacy inside the ring with you. I mean, once the bell rings, it's just you and the other guy, and vice versa. So I think it's Tommy's power, his aggressiveness. Oh, and Klitschko cannot get caught by that left hook. That is a deadly left hook. I mean, it was kind of a Tyson left hook. I've gotten in trouble for comparing Tommy and Tyson before, but I mean, it is what it is. Similar fighters. I hate that they didn't fight. I think that would have been a great fight, more competitive than people realize. But I think both of these guys has a chance in this fight. It's just depending on who can execute their game plan. It all depends on who can execute their game plan and just get going faster. Tommy would need to jump on Klitschko from the opening bell. I mean, he cannot wait. If he waits, then he ends up in Klitschko's rhythm. He ends up fighting Klitschko's fight, and he does not want that. And so, honestly, I'm leaning towards Klitschko in this fight by late knockout, and because I don't see Tommy dealing with that jab. That's a stiff jab. They don't call him the steel hammer for nothing. That's a stiff jab. And then that straight right hand down the pipe. I mean, that's one of the straightest right hands, I have ever seen. I mean, Klitschko is just a picture-perfect fighter as far as technical abilities, as far as fundamentals, you know, and Klitschko has crushing power. So I'll say that Klitschko gets Tommy midway through. I kind of tried to look for ways to give this to Tommy, but you know, when I compare and contrast, Klitschko just has all the advantages in this fight. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think, and I will see you on the next video.